is the Amazon Kindle Fire. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about it, because for mainly the price point, I mean, it's selling for $199. It doesn't look like it's going to be an iPad killer. I mean, it's really for a different market. And really, looking at it, for the amount you pay for, the hardware is actually very decent. I mean, it looks like they're going to be selling it for a loss. I heard as much as $50, so it looks like it's going to be a really good buy. Let me go ahead and go through some of the specs on this. IPS capacitance display, 199 price point. It's going to be a dual core processor, and I actually searched for the type, which is TI OMAP, and supposedly I couldn't find the gigahertz. I think it's like could be a 1.2, which seems to be popular among Android devices. The screen is going to have Gorilla Glass and 512 megabytes of RAM. Like I said before, I don't see this as an iPad killer, or really, it's not really meant to compete with the iPad per se. I do see it competing with the lower priced Android devices, because it's kind of gonna be kind of limited. It is limited hardware compared to obviously the iPad. Limited apps. It does use Android apps, but it's really Amazon's version of the Android apps. You can't access the Google Android App Store, so which is actually kind of limited right now. I think it's got about maybe 10,000 apps. Another thing is kind of a negative. It only has 8 gigabytes of storage, but supposedly their cloud services is going to compensate for that. I think really another reason why they decided to go with 8 gigabytes of storage is price. I think that's another reason, even though I know the cloud's going to take over for the small storage. Another reason I don't think Riot's going to compete with the iPad as much is because iPad can be used for other things, like business, for work. And I don't think the Amazon Kindle can really compete with that. And I'm going through this. Post-PC. Now, the iPad is really meant to be a post-PC device. Obviously, it's not as probably powerful as like a laptop, but it's more of a mobile device. Obviously, the Kindle was designed for their services. That's how they can afford to do it at a loss, or that's their idea. Where the iPad kind of does it differently. They price most of their software a lot cheaper to sell their hardware, and then Kindle's kind of doing the opposite. They're selling their hardware at a loss to be able to make it up in their services like streaming TV and movies. They probably got the biggest bookstore ever you can find anywhere. Their music service, even though I believe iTunes has a lot more, but they do, I believe, offer music. And I was surprised with it. Now, originally when Amazon came out with the Amazon Kindle, this is prior to the fire, it actually did exceedingly well. I think they originally sold out. I can't remember the original, how many they made. It might have been 10,000, 100,000. It done already sold out almost maybe the first day. So I think this is going to be, it's going to do quite well. I am going to make kind of a prediction. I think initially when they go on sale, they're going to, pretty much get sold out. But I think medium to long term, I think it's kind of initially going to go down. I don't know. Sometimes it's very tricky to figure out how it's going to do in a consumer market. But I think it'll do quite well. Now, I actually did pre-order one for my son's birthday, and of course, I'm going to do an unboxing as well, which is kind of a side benefit. So, supposedly going to come out the 15th of November, and hopefully, once it does, I'll get mine fairly soon. Or I don't know, I might have to wait a virtual line, so to say. So. And that was kind of my prediction on the Kindle Fire. And